How's it going, mates? This is Mrjacharles, and we're here with what I think is the last episode of Monster Sweethearts. I think this is the only thing left. Again, I only know this because I kind of watch a little bit of Chloe Spencer stuff, and she's already beaten the game in 20, 30 parts, so she was being much more efficient than I was, but I don't know, maybe I had too much fun with the game. In any case, I believe this is the last thing left before the game is just completely looked at, and there won't be anything else to do, well, except, get Blake murdered once or twice more, but I don't really want to do that, I don't think it'll add to the plot. But after doing this game for months, I don't even remember when I played, when did I start this game? I'm gonna find out now. Okay, last September. It's been 6 months of playing this game, and I'm finally at the point where I'm going to beat it. And bear in mind, I only took breaks once in a while, and most of the time I was okay, play the game, something else, play the game, something else. So knowing that this game's gonna end now, I don't know what I'm gonna do next. But anyway, I think this might be the last bit, so I am gonna yammer on as much as I can. Anyway, hello, welcome to the extra content of Monster Sweethearts. Here I'll talk about the development of the game, concept art, and some cut content. Let me get started. Oh, okay, so it's not the characters, it's just kind of behind the scenes. You know what? I can still make fun of that, so whatever. Let's get started at the start when I first got the idea for the game. Somewhere in early 2019, I wanted some good lesbian content, but wanted to have Monsters horror aspect. Well, you certainly delivered there. I loved your lesbians. Sadly, at the time, there existed no game that fit what I was looking for. In addition, there's not a lot of real pure lesbian otome games, where it's all actual lesbians and not one girl and 4 guys. Oh, okay, so that's why... Right, that actually makes a lot more sense now. So it's called otome. I'm gonna look for more of those, but maybe I won't get as good a thrill as I did with this game. That's why there's barely any men in the game. I wanted a woman-only cast. Okay, that actually makes sense. And it made the game much more fun, believe me. The only man that matter are Rico and Mr. Moritz, the 2 best man in the entire game. They're 4, but still. Who's Mr. Mortis? Mortis? Moritz? Well, I said Moritz originally, but it's definitely Mortis. Instead of what it is now, it was going to have no Jaylene and just have to play a character not be shown. Yeah, but I like Jaylene. Jaylene's fun. And the CGS would be cards you could get when you play. The CGS? With drawings of the love interest doing stuff like in Love Life. And wait, you get cards in this game? That sounds fun. But in the direction I was going, and that wasn't going to work, the game needed to have a main character. Okay, fair enough. I wanted to draw cute girls, but I really wanted to draw cute girls kissing other cute girls. Well, that's fair. I wanted it a good lesbian otome game that catered to my wants and needs of monsters. And it did. I wanted to do a whole dating sim, but I needed to keep my scope small since I was fairly new to programming in Ren'P at the time. That's fair. Oh my god. Is this original concept? I gotta admit, this looks sparkly. What? There's no love hearts as well. Is that a health counter? With Latin, you're gonna need it, but here is one of the very first concept of the menu. Take note that there is a place for a side image. I mean, I kind of like it. I like the little image of Jaylene there. That's cute. The reason it's not in the game is because I was too lazy to make it work. I mean, to be fair, that's basically what mangakas do, and then they actually get a lot more plot out of it, and that's what you did. So, congrats to you. That's a good thing, actually. I agree with that kind of art. There are also 3 hearts in the corner. This is to show the player's affection with the love interest, so when the questions come up, they're more aware their choices have consequences. That sounds fun. Here's also the very first thing I drew for the game. It's pretty crudely drawn. I was not expecting people to ever see this. So... Well, I gotta admit, Lyle looks fucking cute there. Vampire looks like a man there. I don't know who the bottom left is. The line's looking funny there. That's the middle bottom, I guess. And, wait, so there's the hot vampire and the vampire. Was there gonna be another vampire or something? Okay, furthermore, keep in mind, I never wrote anything before this that wasn't school-related. The only fanfiction I ever wrote was Tsunami fanfic back in 2013, where the only word was hi. Sounds good. If you don't know what tsunami is, don't infect your Google search with it. Alright, I'm not even going to bother. Although I am curious, then I'll leave that to you guys. If it infects your computer, I'm sorry about that. So it was very hard writing what was going to be 800 pages and 200,000 words worth. But I had to start somewhere. Jeez, 800 pages, 200... I mean, I'm writing a novel now, but I'm only on 60,000. So I'm just showing that off. I am trying to make the book that you're meant to look out for. I don't have one yet, but I'll get there. This was the result of that. Oh my god. Cool. This is great. Yeah, the common root word dot got corrupted when it was halfway to... Oh, that must have hurt. As you can see, there are a few sentences that I had to fish out to make it readable again. This took about an hour or so to do. Alright, at this point I was going to give up on the game, but I already drew some of the sprites, so I forced myself to go on, and congrats to you, Jesus, I wouldn't... Oh, wow, okay, some of these girls look really cool. I mean, I think Xanth looks better with a kind of British thing going on, but that goth does kind of suit this girl. I wouldn't mind that being another one. Lion looks better there, because I like the red. Yeah, okay, everyone else is basically the same. These images have been resized. If you want to see original pictures, go to the game page. At the start, the sweethearts were supposed to be werewolves, but this proved to be difficult to make the roots different enough. I mean, that's fair. You're saying, like... See, she even... The Xanth lookalike there looks like she'd be a vampire. So I just can't get over the fact that Xanth was originally going to be a werewolf. Okay, I guess she has a werewolf thing, since I'll have to retell all the werewolf rules in each route. So I changed the characters to represent universal monsters, so I could have way more fun writing each route. That sounds fair. Oh my god, then what happened here? Here are just different versions of the sweethearts. Who's the far left meant to be? Who's the other girl next to Lyle meant to be? She's got a beanie. Is that meant to be Bay? Like between Lyle and Line? No, I prefer without the hat. I mean, I prefer her clothes in this one, but... Okay. Who is the far left one as well? They went through their own changes many times, mainly Bay, Vic, and Xanth. Fair enough. I mean, I hadn't seen Vic change that much lately. At the start, Xanth's sister was supposed to be part of the lineup to make it an equal 6. 2 butch, 2 femme, and 2 who didn't fit in those labels. Fair enough. But later, I couldn't really make her story fit different from Xanth's. As I was more into Xanth as a character than Lanth, so she's just a side character now. I mean, that's fair. Although I've got to say, like, looking at how Lanth was kind of drawn in the Xanth playthrough, I've got to admit, she didn't look like someone that you could date. She looked like one of those side chicks. I mean, here maybe... No, even then she looks like a side chick. She looks like a he again, but whatever. I guess characters just do that in this game. Thus, I made her a teenager, since she was no longer a love interest. Fair enough. Oh, and now they're all naked. Wow. I like Lion. She's got, like, skull hand boobs. They all had naked sprites, which were mainly never used. I mean, I don't... Or maybe Lyle's was, actually. Because she had, like, a topless shirt at one point, but... Okay. Monster Sweethearts was going to be an 18-plus game, but drawing NSFW is hard. I mean, fair enough. I mean, at least I finally got that picture of Xanth, but it's not real Xanth. It's fake Xanth. Plus, I wanted to make it accessible to more people. That's fair. Also, notice how they all have the same feet, too. Use and recycle, because no one is going to see it. I mean, that's fair. I wouldn't have noticed, to be honest. They're different colours. Let's go on to each of the characters. Let's start with Jaylene, whose name was once Jalen, but was changed since, for me, Jalen was too hard to remember how to spell. That's fair. But little did I know that these names had totally different pronunciations to them. Oh, you should hear how I pronunciate anything. I mean, Xanth, Xanthe, Zinthe, I don't know what it is, but I just ruin names. I didn't know they were pronounced differently till someone made a Let's Play of the game, way past the point of fixing it. I mean, I don't know who that would be. I doubt that's me, to be honest. Yes, English is my first language. I didn't know that. Making Jaylene, I wanted to make her different than the usual Otome main protagonists. If we're talking in general, the MC in Otome games don't have a real personality and don't have flaws. In general, I haven't read all Otomes in the world. So I made an effort to make Jaylene an asshole at times, since she's not a perfect person. I was kind of tired of the perfect happy-go-lucky Otome MC. Where are my assholes? I mean, I don't really get that impression going into the game. Until, like, the Blake bit, when she's kind of like an angry mum. She just seems like someone that's just tired of this shit. She's like Squidward, but sexy. Anyway, plus the character development of Jaylene becoming nicer and caring, only somewhat if we're being honest, is great. In ship tropes, I love a character that denies they're in love because they're so heartbroken from the past, but their love interest teaches them to love again. Cheesy, but I can't get enough. So I made Jaylene a big tsundere, but I made sure she's not so tsundere in every route. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I'm guessing that's what it is. Like in Victoria's, it's full-on tsundere, but in Bay's not so much. I didn't want the reader feeling the same story over and over. Or reading anyway. I really like Jaylene, but I can see why people can find her annoying, but that was kind of the intent. You know what, I absolutely loved her. I thought she was the perfect protagonist in any love game. I mean, I haven't played many, like, love novels, admittedly, but she was just like someone, you know, trying to get through life, getting all that, and then she's like, oh my gosh, I'm flung into this world of monsters. I thought it was perfect, and I didn't even think once she was mean. I thought she was just realistic. Anyway, let's move on. Going over to Lyle, her design didn't change much throughout. I'm guessing you had, like, someone in mind with this, but that's fine. She was the first for me to come up with, since I love butchers and werewolves. Doesn't surprise me. Though her story was a tad different at the start. Cersei was supposed to make the player believe that Lyle was dangerous and that Jaylene should come to her pack. Lyle in this route is scared of going feral and of losing control. I mean, that sounds fun, but I kind of like how the Cecil thing worked out. In the bad end, Jaylene would be Cecil's servant to her family, with Lyle feral somewhere. Where? IDK. Didn't think that far. In another bad end, Lyle would eat Jaylene, but this was changed to be Line's bad end. In the current game, all the endings end in the monster sweetheart dance in earlier drafts. They ended in completely different ways. Okay, that does explain why Line doesn't get to dance. Such as Lyle proposing at the end of her route at a family reunion. Well, now I'm very glad he didn't put proposing in it, only because, like, these form are all, like, nice romantic things as opposed to getting married and starting a family. I mean, it's cute, but Lyle was the only one where major changes to the story didn't happen. Later on, you can read where some of the routes may have gone. I created Lyle first, as she's my favourite personally. I love her so much, but I also love Bae, Victoria, and Xanth, Lion, Blake. Fuck. There's so many cute girls in this game, to choose just one. Xanth all the way through. I want Xanth to be a real person. There's not much to say about Lyle, so let's go on to the best fish in the game. No, okay, I was going to say, I thought, the best one, but then I thought, oh no, fish, hold on. Now on to Bae. She was here to fit that athletic type you see in most Otome games. I can see it. Her old design, her main outfit was meant to cover most of her body, since it covered up her scales like Victoria's scars. Okay. The beanie would be covering her fins on her head, thus she was so nervous and shy all the time, afraid of getting caught. Alright, a disease was still going around in this version, but the B-plot was that Bae had an abusive ex-Loch Ness monster girlfriend. That would have been interesting to see. Maybe that's what, Sky? Was her name Sky? Was that what Sky was meant to be? I mean, she did kind of just, like, feel like she was there. So, I don't know. They kept on creeping on back into her life that you would have to deal with. Alright, maybe just to play a card game against her. This was later removed to be replaced by Van Helsing to show off the fear monsters live in by being haunted. Well, that was pretty good. In her old good end, she would have been an Olympic swimmer, winning gold medals. Good for her. Man, you really just go out there sometimes, don't you, Lonely? Also, fun fact, if you read the game before the big update, you'll know that Chrissy's shop used to be Diana's. Okay. It was going to be Chrissy from the start, but I didn't have time to do a sprite, and thought she needed a sprite, so I placed her with her Diana. Dumb decision. While Bae is great, let's go to the best girl. Xanth. Not the best girl. Victoria. I love her so. I don't. I just didn't like her. She was a dickhole. Most of Victoria's route was winged, as I was writing it, which actually semi-worked out. I think she was your weakest. I mean, I know at least you got to go to the dance with Victoria, but at least Lion had like more of a kind of development that was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of like it could go anywhere. You didn't know what was going to happen. I did not write any outlines, which I do regret, since it causes a lot of writing that I would later cut and wasted my time. This game is about 800 pages. You need an outline that addresses what themes you want to address, so you keep that in mind when writing. Because I was wasting a lot of time writing ideas that wouldn't pan out. Fair. Then I got the idea that Victoria is a Frankenstein. What if her dad brought more people back from the dead, and that was the conflict? Oh, so the original zombies were his experiments. Well, that explains why you only see them, like, once, because I was kind of confused why we didn't see the zombies more often in the game. I thought that was just like a world-building thing. Since originally there was going to be a love rival to Victoria, that would have been a bit more fun. She would show how much better of a friend she would be to Jaylene, and Jaylene close to the end was going to choose her over Vic. But when Jaylene went to the cemetery to get some parts for Victoria, she sees the love rival there trying to have sex with a I'm glad I didn't put that in. Jaylene was like, I'm glad, okay. Jaylene was like, and the other girl was like, it's not what it looks like, but it is exactly what it looks like. So why would she say it's not what it looks like? Why didn't she just say hey or something? But that's not enough conflict to drive the whole story forward, or making something scary, since I wanted a horror visual novel too. I mean, saying that, I think the most jump scares came in Victoria's playthrough. And I only say that because Well, if you think about it, like, we had that, like, wall monster that I remember just screaming constantly. That sounds like a horror thing. We definitely didn't get that with Lyle, and I can't think when we got that with Bay. And, any of the other guys. I mean, it got gory with Xanth, and Lime was a bit gory as well, but I think the most horror elements comes from Victoria's story, but they were the least significant. But yeah, I don't know. So removing the love rival and putting in creatures that want to kill them makes for more heavy-hitting drama for me at least. Going on, she was made to fulfill that childhood friend trope in romance visual novels. But I wanted to do something different with her and make Jaylene hate her guts. That's always nice. Since not all friends stay your friends throughout your entire life, nor do their personalities stay the same either. I can relate to that, actually. And every romance otome I played had the great friend that's there for you, and I'm just like, what if they bullied them in the past? Wouldn't that be fucked up or what? I mean, yeah, fair enough. It doesn't make her likable, though. I mean, it's good to have, like, one bad character, but still. It will also create more conflict. You need that drama in a story to have readers enjoy it. While Lyle may be my favourite character, Victoria and Jaylene relationship is my second favourite. We are on complete opposites here. I mean, I like Lyle, and I liked her playthrough, but I gotta admit, I liked your later girls. I love ships where one hates the other, but the other adores them, or where they both hate each other and learn to love each other later on. In fairness, that's what attracted me to Victoria at first. Then I found out Victoria was a dick. That's why Jaylene is tsundere, so in every route, she's like that, more in some routes than others. And it's even better in Victoria's route, because Jaylene still very much loves Victoria. She's just really hurt and damaged by what she did. But it never feels like that she actually loves her. Like, I feel like, in this playthrough, like, Jaylene liked Victoria the least, but that was my impression, because there was never really a point where they really had a moment. It was more like Victoria was a dick, Victoria tries to make up for it at the end. That's how I felt anyway, that's why I thought it was the weakest one. It hurts her pride to love someone who treated her like shit years ago, so it's good to see her refuse to love Victoria, but can't because Victoria is just too good to her. I also love Victoria because it was a lot of fun drawing her stitches and scars. Those were well done actually. I especially like the neck one because it kind of hints it from the beginning. Most monster girls in media don't look like monsters sometimes, but Victoria's body is gross, her caved-in face is really gross, but if you love her like I do, you look past that. I mean, I look past that, but I don't look past the fact that she's a bitch. That's why I made an effort for Bay and Lion to have true monster forms. Lyle was going to have a dog form with like a snout and everything, but I'm not a furry, so I'm not into that. Yeah, fair enough, I might be. And yes, you can like Bay's fish form without being a furry or scaly or whatever. She's too human. Alright, cool. What happened here? Before she would have a quirk of calling Jaylene JJ, oh, okay, that was what she had before. Okay, well, that's a good thing they didn't call her JJ, because that would have been annoying. I changed this, since it reminded me too much of JJ, the jet plane, and that bothered me. I don't even know what JJ, the jet plane, is. Anyway, in her good end, her and Jaylene owned a flower shop together and were married. Why were you originally marrying all these girls? I mean, again, it's a good move to, not get them married, because I just it feels more like a school romance now, and I like that. She was also going to be the only canon bisexual out of the main girls. Taylor is, but is never stated anywhere, but I felt she was more Jaylene sexual than anything. I mean, fair enough, but it is said in the game that she does sleep around a lot, Victoria, so I guess it is kind of there. Everyone else is as a lesbian. Jaylene is a big fucking lesbian, but we won't admit it because Victoria made her afraid to love again. Well, that actually makes sense, although you don't get the sense of that when you're, say, the Xanth walkthrough, where you're saying, oh, boys, and you're not even I mean, I suppose it might have mentioned Victoria once or twice, but, too bad I put her in a game full of girls who like girls, so she can't ever escape. She will always end up with a cute girl. What a nightmare, right? To be clear, every girl besides Taylor, Sierra, Jolie, and Lexi are full-on lesbians. Oh, there were 4! The only straight girls are Lexi and Jolie. Was Jolie the... Which one was Jolie? Oh, that's going to annoy me now. Taylor... So I know Lexi, I know Taylor. Sierra's the... Yeah, she's bisexual. I keep thinking Jolie's the girl that was in the store in the Lyle playthrough, the ginger girl, the countryside girl. Or was Jolie Blake's sister? Was there more than one... I don't know. And of course Dan is a lesbian. Yeah, that makes sense. Looks like a man though. Another thing to note is that instead of Victoria leaving, she actually dies in that car crash. Oh, okay. So when Victoria and Jaylene meet in the common route, Jaylene is like, I thought you died. And Victoria's like, nope, it was really awkward. This was changed since it's hard for Jaylene to be mad at Victoria if she died. Like she's being an asshole to someone who straight up died, That's fair. One idea I've thrown around is her being a semi-stalker throughout her route, but I wanted a game with healthy relationships, so that was tossed. And to be fair, that really worked when you were doing Cecil and she was an unhealthy stalker, like a proper unhealthy one. So that was a good move. That's enough about Victoria. Let's move on to one of the hardest routes to write. Oh, my bae. And to be fair, the best route. My favourite route anyway. Not even because, like, she's an amazing character. The villains was good. The horror was good. Killing them off was good. And I gotta admit, I've still got that picture of my girl in my head when she's in the rain just wiping her hair. Sorry, I like that scene. That's my favourite of all the game. Xanth went through a lot of changes in her story. Originally she was out to kill you, straight up kill you, though she did this since she thought in her own twisted way that's how you show love. Well, I'm glad you mixed that up because that would have been strange. Sounds like she would have been a Victoria or something. Throughout the route, you could die 4 times if Xanth likes you too much. And like the B plot was art that could kill you, like Velvet Buzzsaw. Okay, that movie wasn't even that good. I don't know why I was trying to replicate. Yeah, it didn't sound that good, but I don't know, maybe it could have worked. And in that good end, they would have an apartment in New York where Xanth did art for living along with cats. Can't get more lesbian than that. Yeah, actually no, to be fair, cat mamas are huge lesbians. Not all of them, but it is a lesbian thing to have that pussy in the house. Xanth went through many changes in her story since she was way more unlikable in earlier drafts. I made her more sympathetic so the reader would actually want to date her and not hate her guts. But I also wanted a horror aspect that was hard because whatever Rose did to Jaylene, that in turn will affect the reader's view on Xanth for putting her in that mess. It was a hard line to balance, and honestly I don't know if it did it 100% well, but it's better than not try. It was your best story! It was a perfect conflict! Like, you were thinking, is Rose right to kind of do this to Jaylene? And it turns out, no, she wasn't, because she just wants to dick Jaylene around. So, dick Xanth around. So, I genuinely think that Xanth was your best, character written. And to be fair, it shows because you actually put a lot of thought into it. I'm not saying you didn't with Victoria or Lyle or some shit, but the fact you struggled with this one shows that you must have really put some time into it. Later on, you can read some of the drafts I deleted if you so wish. They're very long, so keep that in mind. Okay. Have we opened, a new can of worms here? Maybe I can get my 100 parts. The restaurant scene didn't come till way later, so corruption didn't exist, but the thing with Xanth's head being messed up still did. It would be called tattooing, where a person is brainwashed Rose and then would force Jamie to tattoo Xanth to force her to listen to commands. Oh wow, well the twins look nice here. The twins and Rose also went through some changes in design as well. These are some old sprites for them, so I imagine that the middle one is Rose and the one on the left, because they're twins, Angela and the other girl, I can't remember what her name was. I changed the twins' hair because almost all the gingers in the game are evil and didn't want people thinking I hated ginger people. I mean, you had Jolie, or the countryside girl. She wasn't evil. Like Skylar, Alexis, the twins before the redesign, Line are all assholes to varying degrees. Yeah, but you still had the... whatever. And Jolie was made to offset... Okay, so Jolie was the countryside... Okay, cool. So I know which one Jolie is now. And Jolie was made to offset the asshole gingers in the game. I thought Jolie ended up with Cecil. I guess not then. Also wanted Rose to be a tad bit more attractive so the player liked her a little bit more. Oh, dude, I did like her. That was the perfect villain design. That was perfection. Writing Rose was fun since it allowed me to have such a terrible person be the antagonist. Since for Cecil, I wanted to redeem her so she couldn't be that bad, but I wasn't going to do the same for Rose, so I made her pretty fucked up, which was so fun to write. Okay. Xanth has to be one of my favourite just because of how different her route is compared to others in my opinion. But enough about vampires, let's go on to the impure of the group. Right, I'm going to save the game here, and I'm going to end the episode here. I'm still going to try and space it out. I would love to read drafts in this game if they're available. I don't know where they'd be, but you know what? If I can spend more time with my girl Xanth, that'd be the perfect way to end this Let's Play. But yeah, I don't think there is that long. I also think that, it might even be 10 minutes worth. But I've got some other things that I could do in this game. So I'm going to leave it here for now. But yeah, if you want to play the game for yourself and you want to discover this hidden stuff, find out what we're going to say about Line, there will be a link to the game in the description down below. Without further ado, the Witch Streaming channel. Until next time, see ya.